Today on ZZZ, made easy, I want to talk about Qingyi. How does your kit work and what's the main goal when playing her? This is not a build guide, rather we're going to go over everything in Qingyi's move list and some tips for execution. As an electric stun agent, Qingyi is the first limited agent to share a role with one of these starting cast. She certainly has more complexities than EMB, and that does mean more things you need to juggle when playing her. In exchange, Qingyi offers more team damage by increasing the stun damage multiplier, more area effect in her moves, more personal damage, and more team building flexibility, which is a trait I think is worth considering. Let's start with team building and Qingyi's additional ability. Qingyi can of course work with anyone from public security, but instead of requiring electric attribute agents, she wants an attacker agent to trigger her additional ability. Attackers are the most common agent type, so Qingyi has a lot of teams she can fit into. Might not be optimal, but you can activate everyone's abilities to at least play with your agent's full kits. You definitely want to activate this ability because Qingyi gets 20% increased days on basic attacks. If Qingyi's impact is greater than 120, every extra point grants plus 6 attack up to a max bonus of 600 attack if you can hit 220 impact. As a stunner, Qingyi should be building more impact and she wants any extra days. She may not be the main damage dealer, but Qingyi has multiple damage increasing perks on top of this impact into bonus attack conversion. Besides building days like normal as your stunner, the main goal of playing Qingyi is to use her special charged basic attack to proc her core passive, which will increase the stun damage multiplier. To use the special basic attack, we need to build Flash Kinetic Voltage, which is the bar in the upper left. Qingyi builds up voltage by dealing electric damage. Qingyi's basic attack string consists of 4 moves. The third string is her AoE, Flurry of Hits, which you can extend infinitely by tapping basic attack. You want to stay in this flurry attack to build up days and Flash Kinetic Voltage. Stop pressing the button to go into the 4th basic attack. If you perform this flurry for long enough, you will see a blue flash and hear a sound cue. This indicates that the 4th basic is now enhanced. This version of the move does give iframes while you're in the air, but there's not a lot of reason to do this besides stylishly triggering a chain attack. The reason I say this is because Qingyi will not return to the 3rd basic flurry after a 4th basic attack. She restarts her attack chain with the 1st basic alternate move. Qingyi wants to be in the 3rd basic flurry as much as possible to build up voltage. If you dodge while in this move, you can go back into the 3rd flurry by hitting basic attacks again. Qingyi can use this to reposition slightly. The AoE of this flurry is 360 degrees, and it can stagger smaller mobs. If you can reach them, Qingyi does have grouping capabilities as she slowly pulls enemies closer. Low-key, a really nice ability to have on your stunner. Now besides shuffling around on the ground, you can always do a dodge counter. After any dodge counter, Qingyi can mash basic attack to go back into the 3rd basic flurry. Essentially, you stick to the enemy with the flurry, dodge counter any attacks, then go right back into the flurry. Another way to get back to the 3rd basic flurry is after an EX special. Qingyi's special has decent iframes and you can hold the special attack button longer to spend extra energy. This will make Qingyi spin in the air slightly longer. It does do more days and build more voltage. Besides extra days and iframes, I mostly use this move to return to the 3rd basic flurry without needing to do 2 regular basics. It just keeps the combat flowing. Just to mention Qingyi's other moves, her Quick Assist, Defensive Assist Follow-Up, Chain Attack, and Ultimate are other ways to build up voltage. Qingyi's ultimate does have the higher days multiplier as a stunner, and it has a decent sized area effect. This is quite good against those double boss stages. Now that we've built up voltage, we need to use it. If you hold basic attack with less than 75% voltage, Qingyi does a heavy attack that can trigger chain attacks. Once you fill the bar past 75%, holding basic attack will make Qingyi do Enhanced Moonlit Blossom. Enhanced Moonlight Blossom, or EMB as I'm going to shorten it to, consists of 2 parts. Holding the button will start 5 continuous rush attacks. Qingyi ends with a 6th finishing move where her staff lights up yellow. Starting EMB consumes all your voltage, and cancelling early for any reason will waste the move. Once you start EMB, you want to commit to get to the finisher. You can release the button during the rush attack at any point to go directly to the finishing move. However, all of the rush attacks contribute to Qingyi's days values. In fact, for every 1% voltage above 75% on the bar when starting EMB, this move gets 1% more damage and 0.5% more days. Basically, using EMB at full voltage grants 25% more damage and 12.5% more days. It's not a huge days increase, but it doesn't hurt. While Enhanced Moonlight Blossoms is a very long attack string and you can't dodge out of it, If you release basic attack to go into the finisher right before getting hit, this will trigger a perfect dodge. Against aggressive bosses, you must use this mechanic. Qingyi gets damage reduction during her rush attacks, but is fully invulnerable during the whole finisher. The perfect dodge into finisher also plays into Qingyi's core passive, but let's start at the top. When Qingyi lands the finisher, she inflicts 5 subjugation stacks onto the enemy. Every stack increases the stun damage multiplier, and this has a max of 20 stacks. When fully leveled at core passive F, 20 stacks equates to plus 80% on the stun damage multiplier, which is pretty crazy. Subjugation stacks will reset after the stun phase is over. Now, to stack faster, every time a rush attack lands during Enhanced Moonlit Blossoms, this makes the finisher inflict 1 more stack. If you do the 5 full rush attacks, the finisher now inflicts 10 stacks. To be clear, only the finishing move inflicts stacks at the very end. Missing the finishing move is pretty bad because you get no stacks and now you need to rebuild voltage. Going back to the perfect dodge into finisher, if you trigger this, Qingyi automatically deals 10 stacks with the finishing move. Essentially, while it's best for days to do all 5 rush attacks, if you have to stop early, then getting the perfect dodge trigger rewards you with 10 subjugation stacks still. Do note, this is not plus 10 stacks, Qingyi can only apply a max 10 stacks at a time. As a tip, if you do a perfect assist while doing the rush attacks, Qingyi treats this like getting a perfect dodge, so she'll do the finisher and inflict 10 stacks while your other agent swaps in. To recap, Qingyi wants to build voltage through electric damage. This will mainly be done with her 3rd basic Flurry, dodge counters, and EX specials. At 75% voltage, you can do Enhanced Moonlit Blossoms. Land 5 rush attacks, plus a finisher to inflict 10 stacks of subjugation for increased stun damage. You can end the rush attacks early to trigger a perfect dodge into finisher, and this still grants 10 stacks. Enemies can have a max 20 stacks, so you need to do this setup 2 times. This is true for the bosses with the big HP bars. However, for all other lower tier enemies, Qingyi inflicts double stacks. So if there's no HP bar in that top right, you just need to do the full stack finisher 1 time. To add to her damage contributions, Qingyi's chain attack gains plus 3% damage for every subjugation stack on the enemy. At 20 stacks, that's another 60% extra damage, and Qingyi's chain attack has a decent area effect. Honestly, it's not bad if you want to damage a bunch of smaller mobs, but you may not be able to do this if Qingyi's the one triggering her chain attack. I keep forgetting to mention it, but some agents can block projectiles if you're in a sprint. Qingyi is one of those, twirling her staff like a helicopter. One last part of Qingyi's kit I'm not sure is intentional is that she has the stronger parry for her defensive assist. For everyone else, it's listed in the description that their defensive assist uses less assist points against bigger attacks. I don't know if this has been addressed officially, but currently Qingyi only uses 1 assist point max for perfect assist. As you get more comfortable with Qingyi's playstyle, instead of peeking at the upper left to check on voltage, there is another sound cue when you hit 75%. When getting to 100% would be ideal. I personally thought it was smoother just to listen for the cue and use EMB as needed. Taking your eyes off the action is not ideal with a dodge-reliant character. Qingyi does take some time getting used to. Her button mashing flurry is satisfying, but you're gonna get punished if you don't dodge properly. This also applies to Enhanced Moonlit Blossoms, but it's a great feeling to get that perfect dodge off. EMB has some insane tracking, but unfortunately, some enemies have invincibility in their moves. Missing that finisher feels pretty bad. Sometimes it might just be better to end the rush early to ensure you get some stacks rather than 0. That's all I have for this video. I think Qingyi is super fun, and I like how smooth her gameplay is when it all comes together. Some of these fights are just cinematic when everyone's warping around and in the air. Thank you for watching, have fun with Qingyi, and I will see you in the next video.
Cross the line and you get shot.